I blinked for 1 second, just one. With a quick motion, he drew his sword and cut off my right ear. Yes, I was shocked, but what happened after was much more surprising. The man who everyone talks about, the man who stirs up crowds, the man who says his authority comes from God, the man who I came to arrest, he healed me. I will never forget the power I felt surge through my body as he touched my ear. I can't even begin to describe it. It was relief. That short minute of pain, which seemed like an eternity, finally ceased. I reached up to touch my ear, and to my dismay it was perfect, like it had never happened. Who was this man? Why would the man who I came to arrest heal me? Why would he rebuke the one who tried to defend him? I don't understand. I'd never felt that kind of love. I mean, he saw me, like really saw me. As he reached for my head, he gazed into my soul and I felt love. He looked me in the eyes like he had known me my whole life. And for that one moment, I wasn't a servant. I wasn't someone who was ordered around. For that one moment, I was loved, but not the usual love. It was different. It was deeper. It was unconditional. It was the kind of love that seemed to erase all the awful things I had done in my life. It was something I'd never known until that moment. What if he was who he said he was? What if he really was the Son of God? We took him in regardless because that was what we were ordered to do. But now I fear. I fear that what I have done cannot be forgiven. I fear that I won't ever get to see that man again because there was something different about him, something attractive, something that made me curious about him, something I will never forget. I had an encounter with Jesus and I will forever be changed. As you've probably figured out, this is not my story, but it was that of a servant who came with Judas to arrest Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. This servant was ordered by the high priest to go and to arrest him, but in return his life was changed because the guy who he came to arrest actually healed him. And as I was reading the story in Luke 22, I started asking questions about this man, this servant. What were his thoughts? What was his response? Was he completely surprised that the man he came to arrest healed him? Was he expecting it? Was he... What was going on? And the truth is we don't know. But one thing I do know as fact, and one thing I believe, is that when you have an encounter with Jesus, you will never be unchanged. And knowing that as truth, I wanted to portray and write this monologue as that this man, when he encountered Jesus, he never was unchanged after that. As I was reading it and as I was going through my own reflections, I was in awe of Jesus, and I was in awe that the man who came to arrest him, he healed him, that he forgave him and showed mercy and looked him in the eye and said, I love you, I'm going to heal you. Even though he knew that the reason why he was being arrested was because he was going to be put on a cross to die. That this arrest was going to lead to his own death. He still showed mercy and showed love. And that is the Jesus who I've come to know, and who I've come to love, and who I've come to tell people about. And so I wrote this monologue to portray just that this is the Jesus who loves and forgives. And as I was rereading the monologue and going over it and just reflecting on it, I realized that one part of the story was actually a part of my own story. And it was the end. And it says, I had an encounter with Jesus and I will forever be changed.